Here are another interesting example of curved shapes, and I wanna draw this building in isometric view. As you see, first of all, I start my drawing with the cube in isometric, and this is the rectangular shape in isometric. The most important rule in isometric drawing, as I said before in previous educations, it's the degree. As you know, the lines along the x and y axis should make a 30-degree angle with the horizontal line, and the lines along the z axis should be drawn vertically. When I draw the first cube, I should draw another lines along the x, y, and z axis for make some cuts on the cube. I draw these lines so carefully, some parallel lines along the x-axis, and after that I want to divide the top surface of the cube to 3 equal parts, and I should draw these 2 parallel lines. After that I want to divide this side of the cube to 3 equal parts too, and then the middle part of the cube should be divided to 2 equal parts. Now there are some guide points that I connect them to each other with a curved line, and then this soft surface of the cube converted to curved surface. I drew the first lines so pale, and then I wanna bold some lines that I'm certain about them. I keep on drawing according guidelines, and here as you see I draw another some curved lines according to the guide points, and I made some curved cuts on the first cube. As you see, this is the thickness of this surface. I should draw that, and now there are 2 different shapes in my drawing. It's better to say 2 3D shapes or objects that I drew them in isometric view. And now I should draw some beams for connect these 2 objects together. I should draw these beams along the x-axis, and all of them are parallel to each other. Here I want to draw some lines vertically according to the place of the beams and make some divisions on this surface of the 3D shape. After that I want to draw some columns, and then I should draw the thickness and depth of these columns. There are only 3 groups of the lines in isometric view: the lines along the z-axis, the lines along the y-axis, and the lines along the x-axis. As I said before, this is the curved surface, and I draw some parallel lines here for showing this curved better. I want to draw another horizontal line here, and then I want to draw the space around this building. If you enjoyed this drawing until this moment, you can like this video and write your comments. I'll read all of them. Okay, we need stairs to access the entrance of the building from the ground. So first of all, I should draw the slope of the stairs. And then I should draw the rest of the space around the building according to the first important rule of isometric drawing. If you like my videos, you can subscribe my channel and practice with me every day, and then learn architectural drawing easily. When you look at this drawing, you must think that it's a complex building, but when you start with me, according to some important tips that I'm saying during the drawing, and you start from a simple shape and go step by step, it will be much simpler and more enjoyable for you. So you can grab your pen and paper and draw with me step by step. Okay, here this is another stair access to the building, and I should draw the thickness of the surfaces, and I draw them according to the first lines, and I should draw some parallel lines for showing this thickness. I wanna say you some interesting thing. Depending on the subject of your design, when you are drawing at the same time, you can think about different ideas and different shapes and review the alternatives of each part of the design in your mind. For example, when I draw these lines, I think at the same time about the space that surrounds the building. Another interesting thing that it's especially about isometric view drawing, during the design we can create a height difference by drawing vertical lines along the z-axis. For example, here I'm trying to draw some columns and they're vertical, and I should draw them by 3 parallel lines. According to the shape of the building, that some parts of that were curved, I want to draw some bracings here that I'm using some curved lines too, and they're in the shape of a triangle. I should draw some other lines that they're parallel with the first lines. As you see, I should draw them so carefully, and then I add some other lines as a thickness of these bracings. The thicknesses in 3D objects are so important and make them more real. Here are the stairs. I show them by some parallel lines along the y-axis. And after that, in other side of the stairs, I should draw some other parallel lines, and in this time the parallel lines are along the x-axis. Here are some other curved lines according to the slope of the ground, and these are topographic lines. Topographic lines should be drawn around the building to show the slope of the ground by them. I can draw a railing here next to the stairs according to the slope of the stairs. Between these topographic lines that I drew them, I wanna draw some other curved lines as low and high ground levels. The distance between these lines is large in some places, and in other places the lines are shorter apart. As you see, I keep on drawing and I'm drawing these curved lines. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel and stay with me for more free videos about architectural drawing. In each video, you will learn some new important tips about drawing. Okay, now I wanna add some people around the building, and when you look at these people, you'll be able to find out the scale of the building. And here, the size of the people in comparison with the building is so little, and this is the huge building. You can draw these people everywhere, for example on this part of the stairs, around the building, on the ground, and different sides that they're walking or they're speaking and they're spending time around the building. In my drawing, personally, usually I prefer to draw people in front of the building for showing the place of the entrance of the building. And now here are some pale lines for showing the pattern of the ground. I wanna add these lines here with more distance between them. Also, you can take a rest between your drawing, and after that look at your drawing again and think about that. For example, here I want to draw some lines. I add some vertical lines and horizontal lines as a patterns for different parts of my building and drawing. I want to draw some dots here for showing the structure of the glasses, and I decided this part of the building be a glass part. I think drawing is enough, and it's time to color my drawing for show it better. And I choose the palette for my coloring. First of all, I want to color these parts of the building with pencil, black pencil. I make shades on this curved surface, and as you see, black colored pencil helps to better understand the curve. I want to color this glass part of the building with the blue marker. I choose the light blue for coloring these parts, and I use the brush point of the marker. I color it by some vertical lines by the marker. I create a contrast with the brush parts of the marker, and the upper parts of the glass are darker than the lower parts. When you're coloring, you can use different markers. For example, here when you are coloring the glass parts, you can use different blue markers, or you can use just one marker. Here I'm using just one blue marker for color the glass parts. If you want to make some parts of the coloring darker, you can use marker in several layers instead of one layer. In addition to the marker, you can use colored pencils and blend them together. Blending colored pencils and marker make your coloring softer and look more real. So you can use different tools for coloring: marker, colored pencils, dry pastels, even watercolors. It's time to draw some shades. I think the most important part of each coloring is drawing and showing the shades and shadows. I'm using the cool gray marker for showing the shades and shadows. Usually in your coloring, you should use the gray marker for showing the shades, and sometimes when the brightness is very low, you can use the black marker. For drawing the shades and shadows, you should pay attention to the direction of the light source. For example, the direction of the sunlight or the direction of the brightness of the lamps. I wanna bold topographic lines and these curved lines by the marker too, and you can draw step by step and color step by step. At the same time, think about coloring and different ideas for coloring and using different colors during the coloring. In my opinion, it's better to use only a few limited colors instead of countless colors for coloring. I mean using the same color in several parts in the design and drawing. This way you will have a more beautiful design and the painting process will go faster. Don't forget to show the shades and shadows of the setbacks and different parts of your building with the gray or black marker. For example, here I'm trying to draw some shades of the columns in the opposite side of the brightness and on the ground. Also here under the stairs, I should draw some shades and shadows of the stairs on the ground. The shadows of the bracings here by the gray marker too, and here as you see. I'm looking at different parts of my drawing continuously and thinking about them, and I'm using the gray marker for showing shades and shadows on different parts of my drawing. As I said before, usually I use the black marker for some shadows and some parts that they're in the low brightness. For example, here under this surface, and here the shades of the columns. I want to add some natural elements to my drawing, for example trees, stones and other elements. You can use different kinds of trees for your drawing. Here I choose the pine tree and I'm drawing them. I'm drawing them in different size and different distances. Considering the colors I have used until now, my design can give the observer a feeling of cold weather and winter. I think that's so interesting that you can show the weather condition and even the season of your drawing by the colors that you use. Here there are some beams and I wanna show the shades of them on the building. These setbacks of the building are also have the low brightness, so I use the black marker for color them. These are some pale lines that they are visible behind the glass. I want to show the staircase for connection between the first and second floor of the building. I want to use the black marker again for draw some other shades, and here I want to draw another black line and some other shadows behind this surface. As I said before, in addition to the markers, I can use colored pencils. For example, here I choose a cream colored pencil and I use it for color the ground and the pattern of the ground. I make some shadows by the colored pencil and make a contrast here. Some parts of the ground that they're under the building are darker and these parts are lighter. Here under the staircase and on this pathway, I can use the colored pencil again. I can mix this cream color with another parts. For example, here I can mix it with the gray marker. Here on the stairs and different parts of the drawing, I can use this colored pencil. I want to use the cool gray marker here because I want to make some parts darker than the other parts. Here next to the staircase and here under the building. On this side of the building and on this soft surface, I want to use another warm gray for color it, and here behind this surface. I think it's better to use the black colored pencil here for show the curved surface better. I want to show the shadows of the trees on the ground by the cool gray marker, and some other plants and grasses by this marker. I can also add some dots by the marker and more details. Okay, this is my drawing. Please subscribe my channel and stay with me.